Hello traders and Market Club members everywhere. Adam Hewison here, coming to you from the digital studios of Market Club. And today it's the first day of spring, and it seems like the markets actually have a spring to them. Not only gold, but also the equity markets and many other markets as well. So let's get started. It's also the International Happiness Day, every investor should be happy with what's going on today, unless you're short. Let's take a look at starting with gold. Gold's doing something that it hasn't done before, and I want to share that with you very quickly this morning. And that is, it's made the turn. We've gone over the parabolic here. You can see that we're still below the 50 level, but look at what's going on with this. It just crossed over the MACD, indicating that the trend has maybe, just maybe, stopped going down. The other thing to look at here is our daily trade triangle, which is really showing you where you should have gotten out on this market. So you would have gotten out right here at 1164, which is right here. And you should be on the sidelines right now in gold. We're waiting for a buy signal, and of course if we get that buy signal, we'll alert you right away. But it looks like that's going to be a changer. The other thing to look at in gold is this, and if we go to the weekly charts, this is going to be the highest close we've seen in gold if we close here in 3 weeks, which is a difference. So I really want to share that with you. That's a really difference. It's the first time we've seen that happen. Now let's take a look at Tiffany really quickly. This is a weekly chart, but I want to go to a daily chart. Now, this is the Tiffany announced its earnings, and they were disappointing, the forward-looking earnings. And you could have been short this stock right here. Now, here's the reason why. Our trade triangles were negative, indicating the major trend was down in Tiffany. So the chances are, with them having disappointing earnings, would have been very high. We've talked about earnings, treating the earnings based on trade triangles. It's done very well. So we're down in Tiffany now 3.8%. You would have made overnight in this stock. With options, of course, you would have been much more. Now here's a look at the Nasdaq. Combined new highs on the Nasdaq, very strong, within striking distances, the all-time highs. But it looks to us this index can actually go higher. So here we are, the measurement tool. We're going to go from this level right here, which is 4,850 to, let's say, 5,000, which is right here. And we're going to measure from that point down to this point, and we're going to project that on the upside, and that comes into, I would say, 5,150 on the upside. That's what will be our next target zone for the Nasdaq. Now the Dow has not made new highs, but the trend is beginning to turn up. Again, it doesn't have all the trade triangles green, which means it's still in sort of quasi land, but it looks over the 50 line, which is a good sign. And also you have the MACD getting very close to making that turn. So let's see how that works out next week. We'll get a signal to be a buyer of this index. S&P 500, the cash has not made a new high. Similar situation as the Dow, over the 50 line, but it has not given us the green weekly trade triangle we need for timing. Longer term, the trend still remains positive. So let's see how that plays out next week. Now I want to bring silver, show you silver, what's going on with silver. Silver's had a very good move here. It's moved to its best levels in quite a number of weeks, and it's getting very close to turning around. But look, from 1579, which is right here, you would have covered your short position. This is the importance of timing and using the weekly and daily for the metals, not the monthly or the weekly, just that. You use the weekly and the weekly for trend and the daily for timing. That's the key thing here. So we haven't made the turn yet, but we're very close to making a turn on silver. Now the euro basically has had a lot of pressure, but you can see the euro has actually been coming up here the last several trading sessions, still below the 50 line. The trend hasn't turned completely, but really you should be out of this market from 106.31. You can see that's right around these levels right here, and it would look as though you should just be on the sidelines. What's happening now, I think, is we're forming some sort of like a little triangle here, which is like right here, and that was the signal to get out of any short positions in the euro, which we did, of course, based on our World Cup portfolio. So let's just clear that screen. Crude oil, much the same. It's going to be actually a very close, probably the best week we've seen in crude oil for quite some time. You can see all the negative stuff we've seen in crude oil, but if you go to a weekly chart, you can see we're practically where we opened on Monday, and I think if we close up here, there's a very good chance that this may be potentially maybe a temporary low, but still the trend still remains down, but you should be out of this market from 46.81, so it's just barely above that level now, but again, the sidelines position is recommended for the weekend in crude oil. American Airlines, which we talked about last week about buying, I think we had a signal on our weekly charts, but again, this is a situation where if we go to the weekly charts, daily charts rather, you can see we had a weekly here at 52.20. It's included into the Dow as has Apple being included too. All the A's are going into the Dow, and again, it's a nice trend that's developing in American Airlines. So let's take a look at some triangles and also how we find triangles in an environment like this. We have a very strong Nasdaq, obviously. So let's go to our triangle page, and we're going to search for volume greater than 2 million, and again, equities, weekly trade triangles, and we'll search just for today. Hit scan, and we want to look for, this is the yellow trade triangles, the yellow square around the green trade triangle. That's what we're looking for. We're going to sort them by clicking here. Now, the only one I probably would avoid at this point in time is the first one, because it has a new monthly and weekly together. The other stocks have all had green trends, that means uptrends, in place already. This is just a connection, a reconnection to the trend on the weeklies. These are the ones you should be looking at, Lennar, Kimco, and so forth and so on. That's how you find weekly trade triangles in existing upward trends. Very simple to do, and you can do it yourself. Now let's take a look for weekend trades. Now we've got a strong equity market, we know that, so let's go to the Smart Scan. Here's Smart Scan. We're not looking at strong DMAs, we're looking for 52-week highs. Okay, so let's click that once of all. You see 644, that's a lot, too many. And we're going to look at that. This 644, we're going to filter this out, and this is how you do this. You choose the equity, you view as bar charts, which is fine, but you can also view as line charts and so forth. I happen to like bar charts, and the last price I want to put greater than $50. Okay, I want to eliminate some of the really inexpensive stocks, and I also want to look for volume over 2 million. You've got to look for big volume if you're going to be successful, and we're going to look at U.S. exchanges only. So scan again from 644, you'll see that number will change to 33, much better. So scroll down, and you can see the ones that come up here: Biogen, Nike, Darden Restaurants, Lennar. I'm just going to take those first four, okay? But if you have time, do this later on today, just about 3:45, and see which ones are really closing well, and they're the ones you choose, okay? And take a position on the close. You hold it on Monday, and you exit on the opening on Tuesday. Hope that works for you. I'm Adam Hewison from Market Club. Thanks for stopping by. Have a great first day of spring and International Happiness Day, and I'll see you all Monday. Enjoy the weekend, everyone. Ask about any market and get an answer. Only for members and only from marketclub.com.